Hello and namaste. Welcome to yet another episode of the Binod Paudel show. This show we started since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic just to spread some positivity around the world to people who seek help because they don't have anywhere to go at the moment because we are locked down at where we are. We are away from our family. We have got stresses. We've got businesses shut down. We've got our careers jeopardized and everything. But through this show, what we try to do is we try to bring some influencing influencing people from their life. You can learn something. You can at least compare your current situation with their tough situation in their life, and you can always get good example. Plus also you can always ask questions to them if you are watching us live in Facebook and YouTube platform. The channel name is above my head here. And also, as we all know that this is going to be the last episode of 2020 and 69th episode of the Binod Paudel show, which is almost 70. So first week of January, we'll be on 70th episode. So today, we're on 69th episode. Plus, we've got a very important topic to talk to, a very important guest. Normally, I run this show in Nepalese language. Out of the 69 episodes, I've done only a couple of episodes in English. The reason I'm talking in English is because today's guest of mine is highly respected person for myself as well, personally. Most of you know that I did my college undergrad degree in India, and the gentleman today, who is my guest, is a very popular name in hospitality education industry in Bangalore, and one of the very handsome, dashing, yet strict principal of the school I studied, PS Institute of Hotel Management. Now it is called PS University. He is author of hotel management textbook. He's a hospitality trainer, obviously, and he is a popular image consultant as well as inspirational, motivational speaker. Today we're going to talk about various aspects of life, hospitality as an industry, education, and a business. And also, it has become a trend now that everybody calls themselves speaker, consultant, everything. But how important is it to have background knowledge of it? We're going to talk about this as well because our guest today carries a long experience in that. I'm talking about Ganapathy Raghubalan. We popularly call him G Raghubalan, and in school we used to call him Raghubalan sir. I would like to welcome you to the show, sir.
Thanks a lot, Binod, for the lovely introduction. It's an absolute pleasure and honor to be here.
Long time.
Very long time.
I remember in school, used to be very tall and dashing principal, yet very strict. Whenever you used to walk in the class, all of these our notorious guys like us used to be quiet.
I guess it's just a role we play in our lives. When we are a parent, when the child is small, we try to put them on the right track. And I think that it's a similar role when you're a teacher. It's our job to ensure that the foundation of the kids is strong. So at that time, I had to be strict. And I'm friendly now.
Today is a very glad moment for me as well because the school which taught me how to speak well. I was a very shy guy then, and then hotel school in Bangalore, PES Institute, where we were there, made me this talkative plus confident, and I'm here because of you all there. Thank you very much for being there for us.
You're welcome, Vinod. We all played a role, and I think I would like to thank each and every student that I have interacted with, because of whom I have grown and developed and learned a lot as well.
Let's go back to the show now. This show is a motivational talk show. We started since the beginning of the pandemic. I would say in between the pandemic, um, where we try to spread some positivity around the world. People who are watching us, at least, you know, because of more than pandemic, infodemic is the one which is killing us. Social
True.
media and everything has got a lot of help. a lot of stuff there people who can't filter get affected with. So the motive of this show is to at least motivate someone, and then change the perspective of their life, or meaning of their life, or the thought towards their life during this pandemic. Here we talk about our guest more, and since you are my guest today, uh, we would like to know, I know we may not say a lot of things, but please let us know as much as we can here as well. You are here in the position, you are influencing, you are a motivational speaker, you are a immense consultant, and you're a very popular hospitality trainer, and you've got a long, I think, more than 30 years of experience in the industry. You've been very successful, but whenever you are by yourself, maybe sometime drinking, driving, or maybe by yourself writing, whenever you recall your life since your youth years, uh, how do you summarize it, and how do you feel about it, and where do you think you are in the position where you always wanted to be? Let's talk about it.
Okay, great. I think you have put quite a few questions in that statement. But still, when I look back at my life, I think it's been a reasonably exciting life. Success is something which, it's very difficult to define. Even though there are a lot of quotations about success, it's all about what we look at and feel as success. It's for some it could be fame and money, for some it could be a very satisfying life, for some it could be achieving certain goals which they have set for their lives. So success could mean different things to different people. For me, it has always been that I have crossed the bridge when I reach it. Sometimes when you set goals too far ahead, you get lost. And I think that's a very important thing in goal setting in our lives, especially. Normally when you talk about goal setting in life, people talk about annual goal, 3-year goal, 5-year goal, 10-year goal, 20-year goals. And it's extremely important that you focus on your immediate goal 110%. Achieve that, because the more your goal becomes distant, your focus, the immediate goal gets lost. So I think that is one of the most important things. And I think, for example, I started my career in the hotel industry. When I started my career, hotel management course, not many people knew about hotel management as a course. It was thought that as a waiter or a cook, that's all you can do after you do hotel management. So that was a risk I took. But after joining F&B service, I went into hotel operations. I loved hotel operations, and I never thought I will teach, because I thought teaching is for those absolutely boring people. Operations is where the action is. So fate had something else in store for me. I never dreamt that I will teach. And after around 6 years in hotel F&B operations, hardcore operations, I went into teaching. And I never dreamt that I will teach for a decade. I taught as a lecturer, I became a head of the department, I became a principal. And believe me, I never chalked out those plans. These things happen on its own. And I think I never dreamt I will get back into the industry, because after becoming a principal, I was at that time pretty young. And I felt that I needed to get back into the industry. I did not want to stagnate as a principal for the next 2 decades in academics. I went back into the industry. I was into training, and I was into human resources. I was with some of the leading hotel chains in the world, like Accor, Novotel, and I was with the City Max hotels of Dubai. I worked in Abu Dhabi and Dubai in human resources and training. And these things happened on its own. It was not something really planned out. And I think that is a very important aspect of life. When we think too much about the future, we spoil the present. And I think that is the most important thing, that we have to make the best of the situation we are in. And we have to make sure we put the best foot forward. When I say best foot forward, it means the immediate next step has to be the best step. If you're looking at something which is 1 kilometer away, you're not concentrating on the next step. And I think that is the most important thing in life. So getting into writing a book happened on its own. Getting into consulting happened on its own. And I mean, I never dreamt I'll be an image consultant. I was very surprised that you said I was a handsome guy, because I know that when I was teaching, the students used to be scared of me. But well, I have some of my best friends who are my ex-students. So I think it's all about, a transition. It's just like a parent has to be strict with his children. But once the child grows up, they become good friends. So the relationship also transitions. So I think it's all about enjoying the present. And in this particular situation, when we are talking about the pandemic and the fear going around, it's all the more important. They may say, what is there to appreciate and like about in your present state in life? But there are 1,001 things which we don't appreciate. I mean, we don't appreciate the sunlight. We are always going around in the rigmarole of career and growth and success, that we lose out on enjoying the present. It could be the green leaf on the flower pot, the flowers, the sunlight, the wind. And I think what we have in our body, I mean, all the spiritual leaders say, look within and you will find God. And I think this has been an excellent opportunity. I'll say the pandemic has been the best opportunity to help people to look within. So I think it's a blessing in disguise. Yeah.
You made me spellbound, because one thing I noted was, if you think too much about your future, you spoil your present. And many of us do the same mistake, especially at the age, undergrad students. At that age, even we thought we had a big dream, and I wanted to be the youngest general manager back in Nepal or India. So that was the dream. But now I'm taking interviews as well. So life does not go with the flow sometimes, and
True.
thinking too much about future, maybe I regret as well. I didn't enjoy my youthfulness then. I didn't went to Brigade Road for a lot of time. I didn't go to MG Road a lot of time. I didn't have other clubbings, so I missed those times. And thank you very much for highlighting this one. This is such a simple phenomena, simple statement which tells everything. And also, you said a lot of things, but you didn't tell me about your life. So, what was your goal in life when you were young? At high school or something.
When I was in high school, I wanted to be a sportsman. I have always been, fanatic about sports and fitness. I used to play reasonably good cricket. Initially, I wanted to be a cricketer. I always used to fancy being a one down batsman, and Dilip Vensarkar at that time used to be my idol, who was a one down specialist batsman. This thing slowly transitioned from cricket to basketball. And I used to be in the school basketball team. In fact, I was a captain of the IHM Bombay team, which won the national All India competition in 1989-90. And I was very keen, but basketball has doesn't have a great following in India like probably cricket. So I couldn't continue in that. And I also went into taekwondo. And I noticed recently you got a black belt, and your son, I think, has been into taekwondo. I was got a state level medal in taekwondo when I practiced, and that is also something I could not continue because I got into education and work. And I'm sure you know how the hotel industry pressure is, because of it, I could not continue practicing. So initially, my goal was all about sports and fitness. And I, since my dad was an army officer, I also had a dream to become an army officer. But well, fate had different things in store. I got sucked into hotel management as a course, and I continued. But one of the things I also realized, life always takes its own course.
Yeah.
It and we should not get affected by it, because we may chalk out some plans, Nothing wrong in chalking out because it gives us a certain direction to go in. But if there are alternate things happening, I wanted to be a cricketer, I wanted to be an army officer, does not mean that I regret doing what I did. It's always okay. There is something else which has been chalked out for you, fate, destiny, God, whatever you want to call it. But this is the best thing that could have happened in my life, is how you should look at it. Then you start enjoying the flow of life. Because the moment you get into regret mode, I could have done this, I could have done that, then you're not enjoying the path that you're taking. And I think that is one of the most important thing, that regret spoils your life, your journey of life. So you have to enjoy the journey you're taking, irrespective of, I mean, so what if I'm not the best cricketer? But what I'm doing wholeheartedly. I mean, when I was teaching, when I was in operations, when I'm into training, that particular session is the most, passionate moment of my day at that moment. And I do it wholeheartedly. And that becomes probably more pleasurable than doing what I had set out to do earlier. And I think that is the secret to happiness.
Definitely, indeed. I think I'm trying to recall. Maybe it was your tenure in the institution. Yeah, we started the sports competition. Inter
Yes,
collegiate sports competition
that's
called
correct. That
FIDA.
was yeah, that was the first of its kind in the country.
I
For
know that, but
any
I was
hotel,
heavily involved as well.
yes, for any hotel management institute in India, that was the first event which was only
FIDA
sports related.
2004 was the first event I remember, and I
That's
was
correct.
one of the few um, members who were working in it as well. So
Correct.
now, while
Luckily,
you're talking, I was trying to relate as well. So indeed, your accents were talking already.
true, true. I love fitness and I have always loved to do new things. In fact, the first Bangalore University chef competition, because prior to that, it was only conducted by IHMs in India. The first chef competition, which was conducted by Bangalore University, or for that matter, any university which was non-IHM, was conducted at Christ College when I was the head of Department of F&D Service. So, well, because I thought, why should the other university students miss out on a chef competition?
How calculative are you in risk taking?
Sorry?
How calculative are you in risk taking?
I am careful. I won't say I'm brash in taking risks. I like taking calculated risks. Like even when I spoke about the first chef competition, when I wanted to do it, everybody laughed at it. They said nobody is going to participate. And the first time we did it in 1996, we had only 4 participants, and we conducted the event successfully. But the next year we had 12 participants, which was a giant leap. So I think I like to take calculated risks, and sometimes I think probably I should take more risks, but I like to take calculated risks. I don't like to take blind risks.
The reason I'm asking this is because this pandemic has locked many of us, especially people of young age,
Yeah.
who were going to undergrad schools, are now locked in with their parents. And then also they are thinking they don't know what's going to happen with their life. They might have planned to go overseas. All international borders are almost closed. And also within the same country, also they can't go to interstate for studies as well. And also parents become a little bit more protective, and they will give them one limited choices. So, and they are include parents and the youngsters. They are now very hesitant to take risks as well, and they don't know what how to calculate risk, how to be a calculated risk taker. So, to those who are scared of the word risk itself, or to those who doesn't even care about the word and do whatever comes in, how what do you want to suggest them? How should we calculate pros and cons of the risk, and then go ahead or step back?
I think in this particular pandemic, it has taught us a lot of lessons about how to go about life, and also about how to, the whole pandemic has taught us actually how to take calculated risks. If you just look at the situation which the pandemic has created, uh, whether it is the way you live your life, the way you concentrate on staying hygienic, you concentrate on social distancing. These are all standard norms which have been put into place because of the pandemic. And also, it has made everyone, I mean, from the smallest person to probably the biggest person. I mean, whether it's the president of a country or the prime minister of a country or whichever country the person belongs to, everyone, this particular situation has put everybody in the same boat. Everybody is rethinking about their life, their career, their studies, their education, their business, everything is being relooked at. And this is, I think, something like a shock treatment. It's a shock treatment which everybody has got, and has also made us realize that we have been going through life like blind bats.
How
Here,
how how should we plan the new normal life after pandemic? Post pandemic, there will be a new life now. For those who are now jeopardized in their situation, and obviously, many of us have lost our businesses, jobs, and some of us have lost our family members because of COVID as well, or with some other disease because they couldn't get in hospital on time, or no beds available. So this is a really hectic situation. We are now during wartime now. So how should we plan our new normal post pandemic?
okay, now there are no shortcuts, firstly, and the world to get back to normalcy is going to take time. It's all about, if you're into business, if you're into education, we'll have to rethink, because I'm sure anybody who is into business or education in life would have chalked out their plans pre-pandemic, before the pandemic hit. That in the next 1 year, this is the kind of P&L statement that we need to have, profits. This is the bottom line. If it is education, okay, the next year or next 2 years, I want to go and study in Canada, or I want to go to Australia for further studies. Now, the entire thing, we have to sit with a fresh slate, relook at it. That's the first thing. First thing is, you have to push away all your pre pandemic plans aside, whether it's employment, business, education, with a heavy heart. It will be extremely difficult. We should avoid working on our previous plans, because the previous plans have become redundant, and we have to accept the fact that we are going to start with a fresh slate. The acceptance is one of the most important things. Most of the people that I have been talking to find it very difficult to accept the fact that their previous plans are no longer meaningful. So that is the first step. The next is, look at your fresh slate, and then whether it's a business. For example, around 500 restaurants in Bangalore have shut down in the last 6 months. So now those people cannot think that, okay, how do I revive the restaurant with a dining concept again? So they have to relook at the concept, whether it is going to be cloud kitchens and focus on deliveries only, which will be probably something they never thought about. But that has to be done. So you'll have to relook at the entire businesses. I know hotels which are also thinking of letting out their banquet spaces for offices. So, the whole concept has to be relooked at. You cannot look at your business, which was existing pre pandemic, in the same way. Workspaces are changing, offices are changing, work from home is changing. So, for every concept, first is forget consciously. When I say forget, you have to consciously keep those plans away. And then look at your business, look at your life, look at your education from a fresh perspective. You don't have to necessarily think that it is going to be a harmful exercise. It's not that your life is ruined. It's not that because you couldn't go to Canada, your education is ruined. probably there is something much better now, because education and knowledge is available at the click of a hand for anybody in the world. And like we were discussing earlier, the whole phrase knowledge is power, I think, is meaningless now, because everybody in the world has knowledge. It's all about how you utilize the knowledge. Because even during this pandemic, in the last 8 to 9 months, I know people who were getting new certificates every third day. And I think it's meaningless unless you are going to put into action few points from each learning. So I think that is the most important thing. We'll have to look at life afresh, business afresh, education afresh. Is going to a particular country and doing a course actually meaningful? Can we relook at that? If our business has taken ahead, can we relook at the way we are doing business? Or do we have to even alter the target clientele? For example, when we are talking about travels and hotel industries, if with the international borders closed, that does not mean hotel is never going to be revived. Even without international borders, this is the best time to focus on local tourism, domestic tourism. The fact is, most of the people, wherever I have seen, whichever city, whichever country I visited, have not seen places within their reach. They always aspire to go to Seychelles, Maldives, the Boracay beach in Philippines, etc. But ask them about, have they explored their city? Most of the times it would be no. And I think this is an amazing opportunity to tap local tourists, whichever part of the world. In India, within each city, probably in Nepal, in Australia. Australia is a large country. I speak to people in Adelaide and they hardly know anything about New South Wales. New Zealand is a beautiful country. People in
It's been
New South
14 years
Wales.
and I've never been to Adelaide.
Exactly. My niece is in Adelaide, and I speak to her. There's something going on in this New South Wales. I have some friends there. Oh, we have never gone there, and it's just we'll think about it. But the plans will be there to visit Maldives or Seychelles or Canada or Paris or so. I think this is another great opportunity for us to. When I say look within, it also means look within your city, within your country, and that is something this pandemic has. I think created. I initially, for the first 10 years in Bangalore, had never visited Lal Bagh, which is supposed to be a big tourist attraction. Till my sister visited the city and I had to take her there, and I told her this is the first time I'm visiting this place. So I think the pandemic is creating new opportunities. I won't say it is skill businesses. I look at it as it's creating new businesses and new opportunities. We have to
Also,
keep our eyes open.
definitely, and also we are talking about people planning for too much for future. They're ruining their present, and they're present in their in terms of their life, happiness, relationship, bondings, and everything are going haywire. So definitely, this pandemic is not helping at all. So I think it's better to stick with what they have
Yes.
pre-pandemic, and then restart new after post-pandemic. That's what even they say, isn't it?
Exactly, exactly. And for people who are very upset, I mean, especially youngsters, I have noticed if they don't have directions and they're thinking that, people in their board exams and graduation time, my life is ruined. Because at that time, it is a serious thing for us when we study. I'd like to only say, don't worry. There are better things ahead. There are better things ahead. When you're at home, when you're forced to be at home, enjoy the family time, which is a very rare thing nowadays. Consciously, when I say consciously, I mean keep the gadgets away and spend time with your parents. They will cherish those memories throughout their lives. And I
Also,
think,
now we're gonna talk about image consulting and everything as well. But we are going towards it. You're an inspirational speaker, motivational speaker as well. And now, many people are confused with what motivation versus the plan is. So how do we how do we explain people what exactly a motivation should be during this kind of situation?
okay. Frankly speaking, I'm not a great proponent of motivational talks, even though I mean, people call me a motivational speaker, but I always feel that nothing external can motivate anybody in this world. Any motivational speaker, including myself, or probably the most famous motivational speaker in the world, can guide you, can give you directions. They cannot motivate you. All external motivations are temporary. We see a Jackie Chan movie and come out, we feel like, we can break walls. That is a temporary motivation. The moment we come out of the theater, probably for half an hour, we are in that mood because we got motivated by seeing Jackie Chan breaking those walls. That is the extent to which external motivation works. Even a speaker, true motivation is internal. If we have absorbed something from the external motivation, which will help us to get motivated internally, that is useful. So we will always have to work on internal motivation. So similarly, in this situation, in the pandemic, it's good to listen to talks, read motivational stuff, but more important is we have to work on our mind. We have to consciously understand ourselves. We have to meditate. We have to make our mind stronger. Once we are able to do that, we are subconsciously motivated automatically. And I think that is what everybody should focus on.
And also sometimes, people at this kind of situations, especially all of us, who have been through and seen through all these things, we fail to manage our own mind and heart combinations. Our heart says it is right, and mind says no, no, it's not right. And also we are scared of we don't know what our family is going to think, because we never used to be with families. We used to be at our workplace or schools, and then we only were with families either in breakfast or dinner time, or maybe sometime men as well. So now they are trying to how do people, how should, especially youngsters, how should they manage their mind versus and then also there's nothing called work life balance now because there's no work for most of us. So how do they manage their family, that what do you call it, family bonding, plus not get demotivated or deviated from the plan which they should start in a post-pandemic new normal? So how do how can they manage it and yet keep their family and friends and their close bonding ones assured that it is going to be okay and they're all traveling together?
One of the best things I feel to avoid confusion, tension, unsurety is by concentrating on positive energies. Okay, now this is something I would like to emphasize on. I'm also a Reiki master, and whether it's
And that's
Reiki
why
or
I was asking this. That's why I was asking this.
so, energies play a very important role in our lives. I'd like to emphasize here one aspect. I myself was a person who was very non spiritual. In fact, there was a stage in my life where I was a total atheist as a youngster, and I used to never go to a place of worship very deliberately. I had a friend who used to go every Friday to a temple. I used to go and stand outside the temple. And my friend used to ask me why. And I used to tell him, you say that God is omnipresent. So allow me to meet God outside. Why should I, force myself to go inside? I wasn't right. I was wrong. But, that is the best part about life. Life teaches things in its own way. And if we have the ability to question, then we learn better. I think that is something which I tell every trainee and every student. We have to develop the ability to question. So at that time, I was questioning the existence of God. I was questioning the reason I should enter a temple. So because of which I got a concrete learning when I went into Reiki, and I also did pranic healing, in which I understood the meaning of energies. So when we understand that there is positive energy, there is negative energy associated with our emotions. When we get angry, we are creating negative emotion. negative energy. When we get happy and we do charity, when we do good for others, we are unconsciously creating positive energy. So, understanding the energy concept is important. It is there in all cultures across the world. Some call it prana, some call it chi, some call it ki, reiki. The ki refers to energy. In pranic healing, the prana refers to energy. In yoga, the pranayama refers to energy. It's the same thing. I think all religions, all cultures across the world understood the meaning of energies long back. But has it continued? Unfortunately, no. If everybody understands the power of energy, I think there will be peace in the world. Because nobody will get angry. Because when you get angry, you are not only creating negative energy for the other person, but you're creating negative energy for yourself. So I think this is where, going back to your question about how do youngsters appreciate when they live in a family, they have to understand that they create positive energy, positive emotions, positive thoughts within themselves. Once they do that, automatically the environment becomes pleasant, becomes positive. It was said that Gautam Buddha used to have an energy level of kilometers. So did Jesus Christ have. So whoever comes within the energy radius gets healed. So that is the power of positive energy. So if we have the ability to create positive energy within the family, all confusions will disappear, relationships will improve, and we have a happy home, happy family. So I think it
I've got a,
all starts within.
I've got a question sent to me in Messenger. As you know that it is a live show and we take questions as well. And
Yes,
also,
please.
by the way, since I'm also one of the alumni, one of your students as well, I just put on the screen for you. One of your another student said hello Raghubalan sir. So Sujit Kumar
Sujit.
Singh, if you remember.
Yes, yes, I remember Sujit very well.
Yeah, he lives very close to me here. 5 minute drive just from here.
Oh,
So
that's nice.
I put this message in our alumni group saying that today you will be my guest. Yeah, the question for you is how do you define what? How do you define self love, and how can a person love themselves without breaking the bonds and relationship
Without breaking the.
bonds, the family bond and the relationship?
Okay, 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 okay. See, self love is, like I told in the previous question, when you create positive energy, you automatically are creating not only self love, but love for the people around you. And once you do that, there is nothing which will be broken. The bonds are not going to be broken, but the bonds will become stronger. And I think once you start loving yourself, you start, creating positive emotions within you, you are only transmitting positivity around you. It's like in pranic healing, they say there are, how do you, if you have a glass of muddy water, how do you clear it? There are two methods. One is you empty the muddy water and then you fill it with fresh water. The other method is you keep pouring a lot of clean water into it. Eventually the muddy water will disappear. So what happens is, if you have so much of love, so much of positivity around you, even if there is a negativity around you, it will eventually disappear and everything will become positive, just like the clean water. So I
It's
think
like
that is the.
it's, it's osmosis. You keep on pouring the positive energy
Yes,
so that the
yes.
negative one goes clear.
So you
So
don't have
now,
to
now
worry
we,
about negativity.
I'm sorry, I didn't get it there.
I said we don't have to worry about negativity in that case.
Definitely. And also, we're talking a lot of this stuff for the focusing on pandemic as well. Now we're going to talk more about the hospitality industry, the industry you've served, I think, the longest in your life as well. During this time, especially uh, the industry like hotel industry, where maximum number of employees are higher than the, now they are jobless. Also, and also when we talk about hospitality education, it is not like before, during your times or our times. It's totally different. It has become more fancy now. The colleges have become only in a photo session places, and then they colleges do things only to be in the prospectus, not in the knowledge base. So, where is the world, hospitality world, in terms of education going, and also what message do we want to give to people who are still in the industry, that not to lose hope, that after this pandemic, there will be something new normal, where we all will be heading and everybody has something on the plate.
Sure. There are two aspects. One is the hospitality industry, and the other is hospitality education. I'll speak first about the industry because I'd like to spend more time on the education. The industry is going through one of the most difficult phases that the industry has ever seen, probably. Um, it's been hit because there is no travel, and one of the most important thing is it's a people's industry. And in this industry, if you say that social distancing has to be maintained and people, you cannot meet people, then it's extremely difficult. So this industry undoubtedly has been badly hit. So, and the worst thing is the industry which was first hit is hotel industry. The industry which is predicted to revive last is the hotel industry, because every other industry will revive much earlier than the hotel industry. So the longest difficult phase is going to be faced by the hotel industry. How long? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. I would not like to give predictions, because there are people who say, okay, in 6 months industry will come back to normal. It will take 1 year. It will take 2 years. But no, I would not like to take or make any predictions. But at this time, only thing I can tell is the hotel industry will have no other option but to revive at some point of time. And when that revives, it will be booming with a bang. That is also undoubtedly going to happen. But for the people who are laid off, who have lost jobs, who have had salary cuts, who are not able to manage, and managing during this difficult phase is going to be the biggest challenge. Now, what can they do? I mean, if they have been laid off and they're sitting at home, what can they do? Now, see, this particular industry and this particular course is, according to me, a life skill course. You know, there are many countries in the world which say that army training is mandatory for a few years. Quite a few countries in the world do that. I have been a strong proponent of the fact that I feel hotel management should be made mandatory for every citizen of the country. And I have a solid reason for that. I have done a lot of research in this. And I feel this is the only course which teaches you probably every life skill, whether it is basic communication, interacting with people in a team, you know, even basic cooking, maintaining cleanliness at home, every possible. When you look at the four operational areas, housekeeping, front office, service, and kitchen, I know a lot of people during this pandemic were in big trouble because they did not know how to cook, because their maids were not able to come home to cook. And I don't think any hotel management student or professional would have had that issue, because we learn how to cook. We know how to survive. There are these programs coming on Discovery and National Geographic, which is called Survivor. So even when you're in the Amazonian jungle, how do you survive? But this course prepares you for surviving. You can make your own food with whatever ingredients you have. You can maintain a clean place. You can clean stuff because it teaches you humility. You don't hesitate cleaning dirty plates or cleaning the toilets. Now, these are life skills. I know a lot of people in the world who will not be able to do these things. Even basic communication. I mean, initially you were telling that you were a skinny and shy boy. I was a very shy boy.
You saw me, didn't you? I was skinny and very shy in school.
I remember that, and I'm amazed at the way you conduct the program now, which is very, very successful as well. So this course teaches you to be confident. And confidence is a very important quality which is required. I conduct programs for engineering college students, medical college students, and MBA students who do not have confidence. They are brilliant, but they do not have the confidence to face an interview. So this course, I think, is one of the course, and this industry is one industry where it prepares a person for life, not just the hotel industry. And that is one of the reasons why every hotel management graduate can work in any industry. I mean, they can conduct talk shows like you. They can. I know the managing director of one of the international airports in India, who's an ex-hotelier. The property development, telecom, hospitals, you name it. Every industry has hotel management graduates. Considering that people who have been laid off, you have to understand from these what are the skills that you can utilize. I know people who are doing home cooking because they have been chefs, and that is a skill that they can utilize. People who have been in housekeeping, people who have been in front office, people who have been in F&B service, there are different kind of skills. When I conduct dining etiquette classes, it is because of my hotel management background. I was an F&B person, so it's not without a reason. I conduct dining etiquette classes for people in the IT industry who are traveling to different countries. So it's all interconnected. So every hotelier who has been laid off, whether it's a waiter or a commie or a chef or a housekeeper, needs to relook what is the skill that I have developed from this industry which I can utilize to monetize in my time which I have now. And the other thing is, how can I upgrade my existing skills? This is a good stage to upgrade yourself. Think how you can monetize your skills for survival. I think these are the two things they should do.
Definitely, and also we were talking about cloud kitchen before. Many people have got their knowledge and everything, and plus they have got the skills, but they don't have the confidence that they could be serving, or they are scared of not being liked. So how do they come out of this fear and then be on the board and start doing something?
This is where I say you have to take a risk. You have to take a risk because right now the situation is such that you cannot be twiddling your thumbs and thinking, because if you are going to do that, you're going to be left out and you're going to find it difficult to survive. It's like, you're in the forest and there's a forest fire in front of you. You have no choice but to run away from the forest fire, or can you create a barrier between you and the forest fire? You have to do one of them. You cannot be thinking and say that, okay, I'm scared of the forest fire, I'm scared of running that side because there may be some other danger that side. No, you have to take a chance at this moment. And only thing is, when you're taking a chance, when you're doing it, whether it's a cloud kitchen, put in your 110%. I never say 100% because when you say 100%, it automatically cuts down by 10% at least. So put in your 110%. That means you are putting your heart and soul into that particular activity. Even if it's making a dish, that dish should reflect your heart and soul and your passion. Then it will come out very well and people will definitely love it.
Indeed. Now we're going to talk more about image consulting, which most of my viewers are from Nepal. In Nepal, it is a very rare thing as well. Plus, most of the trainers and consultants are outsourced from India because we have open borders there. So, since you are there in India, being an image consultant, uh, I want to know more from you about how exactly this thing work. Dining etiquettes and everything. We used to do it. There are many grooming schools in Nepal or India as well. They teach so many skills in life, and they've got a fashion consultants. People get confused with fashion consultants and image consultants. Can we talk more, and then let's know for a layman like me what exactly image consulting is.
Sure, sure. Image consultant is a kind of nascent industry now, new thing which has come up probably less than a decade in India and probably Asia, though in the Western world it has been around for some time, for a few decades. One of the misleading thing about image consultant is people assume that it is only about looking good, which is not true, because an image consultant actually works on an individual inside out. So, for example, we spoke about confidence. You have, if you're not confident from inside, you can wear the best of dresses. You can wear an Armani and an Omega watch and still not look good if you're not confident from inside. So, an image consultant actually has to work on a person from inside. It's not, because people think that image consultant means looking good, wearing the right kind of clothes. No, that is, I think, probably the last thing. I'm not telling that is not there at all. That is also there, but that is probably the last thing. It's the final, like the garnish of a dish. But when you're making a dish, you have to know what spices should go into it, how long you should cook the dish, and what kind of cuts of vegetables or meat needs to be used. That is more important than the final garnish, because the garnish is only going to make the dish look good. So it's the same way. The final clothes is only going to make us externally look good. But if we need to work on a person's image, the person has to feel good about himself or herself. For that, you even need to eat right. And I'm telling, eating right is equally important for a person's image. You need to know how to sit on a table. You need to know how to use your cutlery. You need to know how to talk to people.
So
If you
basically, is it the combination of all these personality development things plus dining etiquettes and grooming and all? This
everything,
is a combination of everything combined become image, is it?
exactly, everything, you have to work on a person inside out. And then the person develops confidence. And after that, we go into even things like, what kind of clothes a person should wear. For example, we look at the face shape, we look at the body shape. You don't have to necessarily say that everybody has to look like a model in terms of physically, but even then, there are a lot of I would call it tricks in a way to make a person look better.
So
For
dressing
example,
sense comes in image consulting as well, isn't it?
which one?
Dressing sense.
Dressing sense, definitely. Wardrobe and dressing sense is a very important component of image as well.
Can I be very random and then take the opportunity of this so as well while I've got image consultant in front of me? Uh,
Sure.
what do you think about my getup?
No, it's very interesting. Actually, I have been observing the way you present yourself in all your programs, and because it's a semi formal program, so you're keeping your couple of buttons open without the tie works for this, because from your perspective, it's a semi formal program. It's not casual and it's not too formal. So when we talk about formal dressing, there are different grades. So there is the supremely formal, and then there is the semi-formal, and then you go into the casual and ultra casual thing. So from that perspective, your dressing is good. Even your facial hair has been neatly trimmed, which is important, because having a beard in hotel management generally is considered not acceptable. But if you have neatly trimmed beard, then it's acceptable. So it's all about how you maintain it. So every aspect of the basics, grooming, your dressing sense, the way you eat, the way you talk, the way you even get things done. Do you shout to get things done, or do you have a firm, polite way of getting things done? That also works on your image. So what happens is, this is not only for individuals but even for corporate companies, because even a company has an image. So, when you talk about McDonald's, there's an image that they have created. So, or you look at a Mercedes Benz, they have created an image. So,
The
you
brand
need,
imaging, isn't it?
exactly. So, there's the kind of flyers they send, the kind of fonts they use, even that also works on a person's image. So, everything, how to send a mail, how to talk, how to send official mails, how to dress up when you're going for an office party. So, all these things come into what kind of
What
shoes
what
you wear.
happens? What happens when you go for image consulting for a corporate company, and then you don't have a proper communication from them, and you miss some information. You work you work very hard for them, l- and I don't know, maybe it has happened in your life or not, but at the end you find out, well, when you do the knowledge edit, they fail and they lack somewhere where they did, which part they didn't communicate with you. How do you handle those kind of situations? Because you've already
Uh,
done 90% of the job.
Correct, correct, correct. What happens is when we do a corporate image consulting assignment, it's more challenging because it's like a cogwheel. There are many different people involved. So we may be talking to maybe the admin or the HR person or the general manager, and we'll be telling that these points have to be rolled out. So everybody in the organization falls in line with the image which the management wants to portray. So that is a bigger challenge because every component, every department has to fall in line. So generally, that is where the image consultant plays a more crucial role because we have to sit with each department, with each individual, each supervisor to ensure that the message filters down. Now, in case at the end of that, it hasn't translated the way it should have been, I, as an image consultant, would have to partially take the blame. So I will have to look at it that there is somewhere in the entire flow that it has not happened. Either the management has not taken it seriously or I have not taken it seriously. So I have to rework with the management to ensure that the flow is perfect. So it's a bigger challenge because getting one person to adapt to a new image is easy, whereas an entire organization, the larger the organization, the more difficult it gets diluted.
And what kind of methods do you use to access new clients when ascertaining their personal and professional goals?
We once we have an inquiry or when we are talking to a client, the first thing normally is we have a professionally devised CNA or a TNA, a training needs analysis set of questionnaire, which has been scientifically formulated to understand where the client needs help on, and it helps them to understand whether they need in specific areas. There are different areas. It could be basic things like wardrobe management, or it could be, sometimes you have your wardrobe full and you don't know what to wear. So it could be wardrobe mismanagement, or you don't know what kind of clothes to buy, as simple as that. Or it could be that you have the best of clothes, but you are just lacking self confidence in talking to people. So you have a very, very closed and restricted social circle. So how do you work on that? So those questions will give the client and me as an image consultant a clearer idea as to what exactly is the requirement. And then we take it further with discussions.
And also, after doing all the assessment and going through all the long haul process, knowing about them, when you start knowing about them, you do a lot of edits in your mind and with the paperwork as well. You give your heart as well. At the end, what happens if your client does not agree with the method?
These things, in terms of what they agree and don't agree, is
Does it
something.
happen, by the way? Does this kind of thing happen?
Not really, not really, because in the initial discussion itself, we as image consultants try to understand if the client is on the same page. Or are they really serious about going through an image transition? Most of the times what happens is, the positive sign is people realize the need for it now more than what it was 5 years back. 5 years back we had to go around and say we are an image consultant, I mean, does anybody need image consulting? But now what is happening is I have had school children approaching me, people who have studied in international schools in Europe, and they have come back to India, and they feel that they are not able to adapt to the new society, and they feel that, okay, I think I need to understand and transform myself to adapt to the society. So what do I need to do? I've had college students. I've had initially I was thinking that I'll be getting only professionals in organizations, but youngsters now are understanding the need for that, and that's a very positive thing. I've had people who are vice presidents of organizations getting in touch with me because they feel they have not been able to command the respect that they deserve. So they say, okay, I'm not able to get the respect from my people. Where am I going wrong?
How
What should I do?
important is it for us, for our PR and the image go together, hand in hand?
Could you repeat the question?
How important is it for a person or an organization? Is it, for their PR and the image go together, for them to look better and do good in what they're doing?
Extremely important, because when you are into PR, you are also the image of the organizations. You are the organization, because the client does not know the organization, knows the organization only by you. So you are technically the image of the organization. So the way you dress, the way you talk, the way you interact, the way you respond to mails, the way you communicate, all that encapsulates the image of the organization as well, other than your image. So it's a very critical thing, and people are gradually understanding that, which is a positive thing.
Also, this is a very growing industry as well. Plus, when something new comes up, many people get interested as well. Um, Also, one of your student, I think he's HR director at one of the hotel in India. Kalol Shah has sent you a message there. Excellent
Color,
answer.
yes.
Yeah, he was my batchmate as well.
Yes.
So,
He's been in touch with me.
he's still in the industry, I guess. We talk in our alumni group, and also,
Okay.
being this industry is growing. Obviously, this has got very short-term training that they can straight away call them some consultant and try getting clients. How important is it to find a good institution, or where are the good institution where people from India or Nepal they can go approach and become a image consultant?
Yeah, hotel management education. Yeah, I didn't speak about that. Hotel education, management education. First, I'll speak a little about the history. Has seen a major transition from only 14 IHMs in India. When I passed out, there were only 14 institutes in the country, in the entire country, and only IHMs. So I think around the mid 90s, there was a spurt of private institutions giving hotel management. From a 3-year degree, it went on to a 4-year degree, and a lot of transition has happened. And like I told you earlier, knowledge is no longer power. So the educational institutions are facing the biggest challenge because everything is available on Google. I mean, how to make a mutton rogan josh, you don't need a chef technically. You can get 10 recipes for mutton rogan josh, you can see it on YouTube and you can learn it. So what happens is the institutions face a big challenge. The ones which are mediocre are collapsing. I mean, they are just not surviving. Even though there's a spurt and a boom of a lot of hotel management institutions, the value of education has to be created by individual institutions. Because, like I say, education is not only the knowledge connected to the course, but I think education is also about value and ethics. And that has to be imparted by the institution as well, along with whatever course they are doing. If that is understood by an institution, they will do well. Students will go there. The other challenge for hospitality education has been so many different courses, nomenclatures, hospitality management, 4-year bachelor in hotel management, postgraduate diploma in culinary sciences. I mean, I think there are around 50 different nomenclatures, which I myself did a little bit of research to understand our hospitality education. And there are so many different universities, so it confuses the students more. So one is, from the students' perspective, if they're looking at hotel management education, I would say look at institutions which are recognized by the All India Council of Technical Education, if it's an institution in India. Because The AICT is the nodal body for education, all professional education in India. Now, IHMs being run by the National Council of Hotel Management and the Ministry of Tourism is definitely of a good standard. The rest of the institutions, you have to see if they're AICT approved. If it is an AICT approved institution, great. You have to look at the placement record, because the moment an institution feels that we have done the course for the kids, we have given the certificate and the kid is gone, our job is over, that is not the right institution. The
Even whenever I talk to my clients and my mentees, I always tell them, if you want to join MBAs or any courses, go to the alumni history. Where are
exactly.
the alumni placed? What are they doing? People who
True.
passed out a couple of batches before, what are exactly they doing? That really matters, isn't it?
Very important, because the institution has to enable you to get a
Mm.
foothold into the industry and also handhold you till then.
Yeah.
So once an institution is taking that responsibility, that means that institution is a, ethical institution. It's not just doing it for a commercial, because education is being treated as a business, unfortunately. Once that handholding happens, that institution is good. And like I told you earlier, hospitality education is definitely a good course, but you have to join in the right place. These are the few things you should look at.
Now I think we are towards the end of our interview as well. The talk show, uh, and also it's been a really lovely talk, and I really don't want to wind up today, but still we have to. But towards the end, I would like to know a little bit more about if somebody wants to do image consulting, or if anyone who is really interested in personality development, motivation, all these things. Now it has become a fashion, and they want to become if they want to become a image consultant like you, what should they do?
There are different courses. In India, there's a very popular institute called the ICBI, which is having a tie-up with the American Image Management Institute called Council Institute of Image Management. So they are the authorized partner for running this course in India. There are a few others as well, but I think, like you mentioned about the cost, it is an expensive course. So what happens is you should be willing to invest the money and the time. These are two important aspects, because there's no point, like I told you, a lot of certifications are going around. You'll have to check the value, you'll have to see how it's going to help you in your career in the future. Because I looked at image consulting because it's connected to the hotel industry. I mean, we've already been talking about grooming and communication and those kind of
I found
things.
it I'm sorry, but I found it very I'm not a image consultant yet, but whenever I'm listening to you, um, I find it like it's very familiar to what we did to our clients, what we studied in school as well.
Sure.
Plus, also on the side, we've been training people in personality and confidence build up. So I think it's a combination. It's called image consulting. So
Yeah, it
the
is similar. It is, I think the hotel management is a good foundation. The things we learn beyond hotel management is more about your wardrobe management and your body shape, your face shape, and for this body, what kind of clothes do you wear? For this kind of face, what kind of facial hair should you have? You have different kind of face shapes. You What kind of design clothes do you wear? Are you supposed to wear stripes? Are you supposed to wear checks? What color accentuates your body shape or hides your body shape? So those kind of things we learn more about the color wheel. A little bit of it we do in hotel housekeeping, but we go a little more advanced into the kind of shoes, the kind of clothes, the kind of colors, the kind of fabric. So we study more in detail about that as well.
I'm scared to stand in front of you now. I don't know how.
And I think what happens is when you keep learning, like in the beginning, you asked me, how are you look young? I think when you keep learning, your mind stays young because you're still absorbing. The moment you
Exactly.
stop learning, you start aging. So I think
Either you
it's good.
grow or age.
Sorry?
Either you grow learning or aged.
No, I think you grow learning, but you keep getting younger.
That's that's very
I
important. There are
want
so
to
many
learn. I want
takeaways
to
from
learn a
today.
foreign language constantly because that is what will make me work harder. My brains work harder.
When I look at you, obviously, but whatever you said, um, it is already implied on you as well. You look way younger. When we look at the screen here, you look, similar age like me, or even younger in the screen here. And also,
Thank you.
one of the viewer, Visa Lakshmi, has commented there saying, knowing Raghubalan sir, he practices what he preaches and advises.
Thanks a lot. She's a doctor. Thanks a lot, Dr. Vijayalakshmi.
So
I
without
ran
really,
my I ran my ultra marathon when I was 51. That was a 70-kilometer run.
how old were you when you came to PS institution as our principal in 2004?
I was around 34, 35 at that time.
It's been 20 years since we talked like this, face to face.
Exactly. It's been a very long time.
And today I feel like I'm in the same time, in the same campus, where we were planning for Creda 2004. And I felt very young as well, and really glad to have you on the show, sir.
Thanks a lot. It's an absolute pleasure to see you hosting the show, and I can't express how I feel when I see one of my student doing so well and actually doing this talk show and conducting this interview with me. It's an exhilarating feeling, and I think that this is one of those rare moments and rare pleasures which only teachers are privileged to have.
Indeed, indeed. Today, like literally, this is a time for me to say goodbye, bye from this episode. But we are having really good conversation, and I hope to have you in my other episodes as well in different topics related to the situations around as well. And looking forward to work together as well. And always wanted to learn from you, and you've always been our mentor and our guardian, especially when we were in Bangalore. It was our we were away from home, away from our parents, and you all were there because of you. What I am now is I am because of all you, sir. I become a
Thanks
little
a
bit
lot.
emotional. All right, so before we leave today, do you have any message to people who are watching us live in Facebook and YouTube now, and then will be watching us in archive in YouTube in future?
Okay, my only message is for everybody in the world and everybody who's watching: stay positive, think positive. All these basics which we were taught in our childhood has to actually be implemented. There's no point in reading quotes, listening to motivational quotes, and listening to theories. Practice on a daily basis all the basic good things we have learned in life in our childhood. We don't need rocket science to be happy. We just need to follow the basic principles of life and we will be happy. Stay safe, all of you, be happy.
It is lovely meeting you after 20 years almost.
23 years almost.
And thank you for accepting my invitation and coming to my show. And I feel way younger today. I feel that 18 or 19 years old, Binod. And I remember the first day you walked into the campus. I know we got a new principal and white shirt. You walked into the office. I remember everything now. We recall that everything came in my mind. Nice to have you in my show, sir.
Thanks a lot, Binod. All the best. Stay safe.
Thank you very much. And looking forward to see you on various episodes as well. And also to anyone who are watching us today, I am talking to Ganapathy Raghubalan, widely known as G. Raghubalan. He's an MS consultant, hospitality trainer, and author. If you're in India and if you need any help in MS consulting, or if you're in Nepal, if you need any help in MS consulting or anything related to what he does, you can always. He's a very highly approachable person, and also now things can be done virtually as well. You can get more knowledge from him. I don't know whether he does virtual training sessions or not, but if he
I
does,
do.
you can always. He's a great teacher. I am here because they all worked hard on me.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Binod.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having you today.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I was talking to D. Raghubalan from India. He's an immense consultant, hospitality trainer, and author. If you have any questions about MS Consulting, you can always ask us, and we can get back to him, or you can contact him, and you can become his client as well. I think you can get the best service, and he's a very professional person. Once again, today is the last episode for 2020. But you know what I'm scared of is 2021 still has got 20 in front of it. So I hope that 20 will not impact us a lot, because the 21 is a little bit bigger number than 20. Let's hope for the best. We've got +1 coming. And what all worries we had, let's forget it. Let's try to move on. We hope new normal may start soon, but do not plan too much, because that may bring frustrations in your life. Enjoy being what and where you are now. And life, during conversation, our guest today said, we don't know what is going to happen. So keep watching us. Don't forget to subscribe our channel, and keep sending us messages, and let me know any guest if you want me to invite them to this show for you. I will do that for you. Happy New Year. Stay safe. Celebrate Happy New Year responsibly, because this disease, this virus, kills our closest. So if we love our loved ones, maintain the distance if you have symptoms. Happy New Year once again. Happy New Year 2020.